Okay, so I kind of did like a mid-year check-in, but I didn't realize there was like a mid-year tag. Reads with Shuba, it was the one that made me realize that there's like a literal tag, like a freak out tag, mid-year tag, and that there are questions you can answer. Anyway, she inspired me and told me that I should just do both, because why not? So thank you, Shuba. I think I'm just gonna try and speed round this. I'm just gonna like look at the questions on my laptop and give you kind of my unfiltered answers as to what these books are for me this year so far, halfway into the year. I don't know. I didn't plan this, so I don't know what I'm going to choose, what I'm going to say. I am hoping I don't ramble too much, but I am excited because I'm kind of just going to speed around these questions and let you know what my thoughts are on these books. So just let me look them up real quick. Clearly I'm not ready at all. I just kind of hit record. Just need to find one. Probably just go to Shuba, see who she tagged, who the inspiration was. Where are you? Oh, weird. The girl's last name is like, it's not really that close to mine, but it's kind of close. Anyway, if this is her last name. It says the questions and video idea came from Katie Whitrock, and my last name is Whitrock, so that's kind of funny. Anyway, that's obviously has nothing to do with books, but yes. So anyway, she is the one inspiring this, and the questions come from her. So let's get into this. Best book you've read so far in 2024. I would say this is probably a tie between the Legendborn series, but we'll just say Legendborn by Tracy Deonn and Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. That was this sequel to One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. Those were both 5 stars for me, both my favorite books so far this year. I just couldn't put them down. So yes, hands down. I know you're supposed to pick one, but they were just both so good. Oh, well, okay. I guess, you know what? The next question is best sequel of 2024. So what I will do is say that Legendborn is the best that I've read so far for 2024, and Two Twisted Crowns, because it is a sequel to One Dark Window, is the best sequel I've read of 2024. That works perfectly. New releases that you have not read yet but want to. That's a good question. New releases. What has newly released that I want to read? I actually cannot think of like a single book right now. My mind is drawing a blank that I haven't read. Right? I know that I can't read it yet, but I do want to read Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. That comes out in November. So I'm very excited about that. Love her cowboy romance books. Anyway, that comes out in November, so maybe if that counts for that question, that is a book that I'm very excited to read. Oh, that's the next question. Most anticipated releases for the second half of the year. I'm not very on top of new releases, if I'm being very honest. It's just not something that I try to keep up with. It just feels like too much to keep up with, unless it's like a book that's part of a series that I really, really want to read. Like, for example, Oathbound by Tracy Deonn doesn't come out until next year, but I am very excited to read that because then I can continue reading her series, Legendborn. So there's that, but that doesn't come out in the second half of the year. Lost and Lassoed does, though, so we'll use that one for that too. Most surprising books. I need to go see what I read. Let's go to... Actually, yeah, can't do this. Divine Rivals was very surprising for me. I could not believe how sad that was by Rebecca Ross and how romantic it was. So I would say that one was a big surprise to me. I kind of kept putting off reading it, and I'm very glad that I did end up reading it because I really, really fell in love with the characters and the story in that book. The other surprising reads for me that I just completely fell in love with, again, Lila Sage, Done and Dusted and Swift and Saddled, especially Swift and Saddled. I'm surprised at how much I could relate to a character. I don't think I've ever felt it to that extreme of an extent with Ada. So those were definitely surprising for me too. I just thought they would be like fun, easy reads, and then I was just like consumed by the characters and their love stories. New favorite authors. So Lila Sage, Tracy Deonn. Who else? I feel like I'm just repeating the same people. Again, these are just like the most memorable books I've read so far this year. I think I've read about 34 books-ish. It would have been in my other mid-year check-in. Favorite authors. Yeah, I think those are two really good ones. Another surprising book, actually, to go back to the question prior to this, was The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. Really enjoyed that. That was actually such a fun romantic, well, I guess it's kind of romantic-y, but vampire like fantasy read. I really enjoyed that. Newest fictional crush. Honestly, like I feel like a crush is just like a fun, easy thing, not like a heavy thing. Like I'm not in love with these characters by any means, but definitely I wanted the whole time I was reading like the Legendborn cycle series, I as much as I like Nick, I wanted Bree to be with Selwyn. I just thought Selwyn, I enjoyed his character so much. Definitely Elm in Two Twisted Crowns, and then honestly Luke Brooks and Wes Ryder in Done and Dusted and Swift and Saddled. I would say those are definitely a couple of people that I've kind of had like bookish crushes on them. How can you not like them? Honestly, all these characters are just like the sweetest. Maybe not Selwyn, he's a little bit dark and broody, but the rest are like very, very sweet. And then a book that made me cry. Honestly, I don't know if I'm just getting like a thicker skin with the books I'm reading or if nothing has been devastating enough for me this year, but none of them have made me cry this year. So I don't know what that says about me. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I need like a more heartbreaking book. I'm kind of okay with having not had my heart ripped to pieces. The only book I can think of that made me do that in the recent past would have been Kingdom of Ash or Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. Those books made me cry a lot, especially the take it off scene. Yeah. Anyway, nothing this year though, so it's been kind of nice. I don't really need my heart ripped to pieces like those books did. A book that made me happy. I mean, lots of them did. Definitely Two Twisted Crowns. That book made me so happy. The way that ended. A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. That one was, that was a new release. That one also surprised me. I really enjoyed that. But I would say that one made me happy. I had a really good time reading that. I had a smile on my face. And then Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom by Leah Bardugo. I had a lot of fun reading those. So I would say those books made me happy, even though there's a lot of really, actually, now that I say that, there's a scene in Crooked Kingdom that made me cry. At the very end of that book, I definitely cried. I forgot about that. So there you go. That's the only book so far this year. I really don't, what she did at the end of that book, unforgivable. I don't understand, Lee Bardugo. Why would you do that? I'm glad I didn't have to watch, I don't think they put that in the Shadow and Bone show. So glad I didn't have to see that because that would have been like extra pain. A beautiful book you've bought or received. Okay, so I didn't actually buy this. We went to Overdose on my birthday and we went into this like secondhand bookstore where they get a bunch of book donations, and here it's a little bit tricky sometimes for me to find books that are in English, but this was predominantly a lot of English books in this like donated bookstore place. I think it's called Silver Coast Volunteers. I'm gonna go get the book because it is so pretty. It is Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell, and I'm gonna go show you because it was just I got it for free. It was a really good birthday. So anyway, I saw this and I was like, hey, everyone thinks this is amazing, like truly amazing. So I've been wanting to get my hands on it, and I don't know if it's just missing the dust jacket. I don't care. I didn't even like open it. Like, oh my god, this is so pretty. No, actually, they didn't write in it or nothing. So anyway, this is gorgeous, and I got this year for free at Silver Coast Volunteers in Obidos in Portugal, and she's so pretty. Anyway. Okay, and we're back to the rest of the questions. Books you want to reread this year. So I don't know if this counts, but I am actually listening to the ACOTAR series, the graphic audio on Spotify. So I'm gonna say that's the only one so far that I want to reread. I love it. It's going super well. It's like reading it for the first time. I am somewhat considering maybe reading like the books that I have while listening to it. Not too sure. I am thoroughly enjoying listening to that though, and I'm gonna count that as rereading the books. Books I've been putting off. Honestly, a lot of my 2024 TBR. And I kind of talked about that in my other mid-year check-in video, but one that I most recently decided to do like a soft DNF was The Cloisters by Katie Hayes. So that one, I just kept putting off reading it, and I kind of felt distracted while reading it. I didn't want to pick it up, so just gonna actually put it off for real. I've also been putting off, I don't have very many books on my physical TBR. I just got 2 more, so I think that brings the total to 5. So I've kind of been putting off The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han and The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. And then I've also, sorry, I'm looking at them through the door to my room. But now I have Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt, and I also have Caraval by Stephanie Garber, and then I just showed you Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. So those are all on my physical TBR. I'm technically kind of putting them off. That's all I have on my physical TBR though, so I don't feel too bad about that, and I know that I'll get to them this year. I'm very excited to read all of them. A book I enjoyed with mixed reviews. Why are the questions getting harder? Probably Circe, Kirky by Madeline Miller. I would say that has mixed reviews. I think you either like it or you don't because it's very character driven. I really liked it. I loved like the story of her life is essentially what it is, but I thought it was amazing. I personally think Madeline Miller is a brilliant writer, and so if you are someone who likes really good writing, you'll like her books simply for the fact that she just writes so well. Like, to go from some of the books I read to her level of writing is sometimes just, it almost feels like getting whiplash going between that book and a different book, just because I couldn't believe that, I don't know, it was just hard to believe that there was that level of writing, but it wasn't academic like when I read, what's it called? The Body Artist by Don DeLillo, whatever his name is. Reading that made me feel like I was just out of my depth. Whereas when I was reading Circe, it didn't feel like that. It just felt so smooth. Like the best coffee you've ever had. It was just perfect. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Series you want to finish before the end of the year. Series I want to finish before the end of the year. Probably Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole and Serpent and the Wings of Night by Chris Broadbent. The only reason I'm not really continuing them right now is because I am not in the mood for those books right now. I'm thinking more in the fall I will be more into that, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm just not really in like a really big romantic fantasy mood right now, although those were great books. I really did enjoy them, and I am excited to continue them and finish them this year, hopefully. Also, it's technically like an interconnected standalone series, but like I said, Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage is part of the Rebel Blue Ranch series, and I do want to continue that. Same with the Rose Hill series by Elsie Silver. I just finished Wild Love. I want to read Wild Eyes when I get my hands on the physical copy that I ordered and should be in Calgary when I go visit, and I get to go pick it up, and it's going to be signed, and I'm so excited. Anyway, those are like interconnected series and the series that I want to continue reading this year. So I'm very excited for all of those, as you can maybe tell. And then goals for the rest of the year. Really just not be afraid to put down a book when I'm not enjoying it. Like The Cloisters, it was kind of a tough decision for me definitely wanted to do what I always do and just push through and read it, but I just wasn't enjoying it. I want to get to reading Emily Henry's books, and I just want to have a really fun summer, you know? And I want to read books that really embody that funness. And the books themselves don't have to be fun. I just want to enjoy reading them. And that doesn't mean I want to be happy the whole time. I just want to actually feel like I want to read the book. That's all I mean by wanting to enjoy the book. So I think that's probably the biggest goal and only goal, and honestly just following more of my 2024 TBR and finishing my physical TBR. Let's say those are the goals. Just being more willing to like either DNF or put a book off until a different time when I'm ready to read it and not feel bad about it, and finish my physical TBR and read and remember to read more of my 2024 TBR. But anyway, these are all of the questions. So I just wanted to say thanks to Shuba again for reminding me that it's okay to do 2 different ones, and the questions are completely different, like you said. And thank you also to Katie Whitrock. I will make sure to tag you, and I'm actually gonna have to go find your video and watch it because I love this. This was really fun. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any books or goals that you're kind of trying to follow for the rest of the year, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.